I actually first started off cutting hair in a Kurdish barbershop when I was 17 years old,
Oh, really? Fucking hell.
before having any qualifications at all.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. We
Fucking
jumped
hell.
right into that one.
Right, hello and welcome back to episode 6 of Chatzzz podcast. We're back once again in a different location, believe it or not. We're in Fish and Trims with the lovely Kieran Fitton.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Adam.
I reckon hold the mic a bit closer.
We'll hold it a bit closer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll have to steep down
Try
a little bit.
and act natural. You can hold
natural.
it up if you want.
Can I hold it up?
Yeah.
We're gonna
Hold it up if you want.
yeah, we'll do that because my knee's a bit far away from my mouth here.
I know, yeah. You can have a sore arm.
Yeah.
So
no, we'll be all right.
yeah, we're back once again. We've had a new structure for the last couple of podcasts to make it flow a bit better. So we're going to start with 3 facts about Kieran, and then we're going to go into his journey when he was a kid, what it was like growing up, that kind of thing. First entrepreneurial venture, and then why he wanted to start his first business. Then we're going to go into everyone's favorite relationship advice at the end, and we've got some good ones that are being messaged in. So look forward to that. So yeah, thanks for joining me, Kieran.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming into the shop.
Yeah, it's cool. And do you want to introduce our new friend?
Yes, we've been preparing the tank for a few months now in preparation for my friend here, who we have aptly named Roger, and he's a stingray. Now, a lot of my customers have been waiting. I've been telling them for months that I would have it, and I've finally been able to get it today. Very, very excited to see what people are going to make of it. I don't think it's anything that sort of anyone's had, especially not in a barbershop before anyways. And yeah.
Do you want to tell people why it's called Roger?
Well, I don't know if there's a few people that watch it or not that have seen the Big Les show, but there is something called the Stinging Roger on there, so we've named it that quite aptly. I think a lot of people will like it. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on there. I'm sure he'll be scattering about in the background.
Yeah, he's sound. He's loving life, isn't he? So we'll jump straight into it. So we're going to start with 3 facts about yourself.
3 facts.
I have told Kieran to prep these, and I haven't heard them yet. So I reckon we go straight into it, Connor.
Yeah. So one of the facts about me is when I was growing up, when I was younger, one of my first role models was actually Steve Irwin.
Oh no, that's good.
Absolutely adored the fella. Just the whole image, what he stood for, what he dressed like, where he was from, and just his enthusiasm towards something which I also agree with, a passion for through that.
Yeah.
Although he's in Australia and I'm in this little town up in the north of England, and yeah, it's one of those where I feel like I've brought a little bit of what he gave me into my work life, into my home life, and it sort of pushes me on and helps me through some quite mundane days in January in Carlisle.
That's cool. So let's go 2 and 3 quick fire, and then we'll go into them in a bit more detail straight after.
I also enjoy keeping snakes. I have 2 snakes at home.
Mm-hmm.
Third fact. See, you got me here.
Your time to prep.
What can I think of that's exciting here?
Have you not prepped? Come on.
You said three things, and I didn't think you meant facts. I thought you meant talking points. I actually first started off cutting hair in a Kurdish barbershop when I was 17 years old.
Oh really? Fucking hell.
Before having any qualifications at all.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. We
Fucking
jumped
hell.
right into that one. We'll go
Quite a
into
lot of
that
people
one in
do
a bit
that.
more detail.
Yeah. That's interesting. So we'll go with the first one then. So you said Steve Irwin is your role model. So when I was younger, I used to love watching Steve Irwin as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't class him as a role model for me. So when do you remember first like kind of watching him or seeing him on TV? Or...
Just very sort of splintered memories of when I first seen a bloke jumping on the back of a crocodile, and I thought, flipping heck, this man's got no fear. And the way he was doing it as well, sort of half presented it in a way which it wasn't as dangerous as it really was. And I think how long he managed to last doing that, it was amazing. The way his message of conservation and looking after the wildlife, especially the wildlife over in Australia, which is really, really unique. It's something that is eye-catching. It's something that you're sort of intrigued about and you want to go and watch. Do you know what I mean? I think with snakes, especially, that's one of the things which I really, really enjoyed watching him sort of handle and the way he looked after them, take care of them. It's like they're an animal that's really, really feared. I've found with a lot of people having snakes myself at home and seeing people come around, just, wow, get that away from me. That's a harmless corn snake. What he's dealing with over there is some of the most venomous snakes in the whole world. And the way he was just holding them, I thought, this guy's got balls. This guy's got balls, and it's exciting. Do you know what I mean? And I think if anyone else could have the message, it could only have been him. Everyone else has sort of tried to reenact what he done. Just gets looked at as a bit of a fool, really.
A rip-off kind of thing, yeah.
A rip-off, yeah. And they don't do it in a way that comes from such a good heart. They do it in a way that's sort of like, oh, this is like, it's more of an attention-seeking point of view rather than an actual sort of, we're looking after the animal here. And I don't think anyone else has carried that on since. No, definitely
That's interesting. So when you were younger then, so was that like kind of like your main thing that you were interested in? Was it like animals, Steve Irwin, or was it anything else?
That was one of the main things alongside football and fish keeping as well. Started keeping fish quite young as well with my dad. That was a hobby that I really enjoyed. That stemmed from literally just going into a fish shop and just sort of watching them at first. I didn't start keeping them for a few years. But whenever we went past the shop, I'd be like, Dad, can we go in and have a look? Yeah. And I just really enjoyed seeing something that you don't normally see, and something alive, and something that you can watch that has a sort of bit of character, a bit of a personality. And I really, really enjoyed that. Yeah,
because I remember when I was younger, I always used to go to the fish shop in Rockcliffe.
In Rockcliffe?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've ever been to that one.
Well, it might have been round about Rockcliffe when I used to go there. I had a goldfish that lived for like 16 years and he was called Eddie.
Yeah, they can last a long time, the goldfish. A very, very long time.
I remember we called it Eddie after Eddie Guerrero, the wrestler. I don't know if you followed wrestling.
I didn't follow wrestling, no.
And then he died, and then he was alive since he was alive, and it was like 16 years. And I'm like, bloody hell, is this fish ever going to live?
They do last a long time. My dad actually had a goldfish.
Necky.
1 second. I've got a bit of dry mouth there. My dad actually had a goldfish called Jaws, and he was 20 years old when he died, and he would have kept living as well. It was actually a cat that got him. And I found the scales on the floor. Unfortunately, he wasn't very happy with that one. He was absolutely gutted, but life goes on.
So then, how did it kind of like progress then from like watching Steve Irwin to interested in like snakes and stuff? Because like you say, when you're younger, a lot of people would say be scared of snakes rather than be like, oh, I want to have one of these in my house.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I always wanted to keep one, and I was between houses. I was between my mum's house and my dad's house. Oh, sorry.
Mr. Popular.
Yeah, sorry. No, I wouldn't say that. I was between my mum's house and my dad's house, and a snake's a full-time thing to look after. Do you know what I mean? You need to be at one household all the time to have it. I think it was, when I was that age, it was seen as too much of a challenge to keep when you're sort of moving about quite a lot. So rather than keeping them, whenever I went on holiday, I was sure to try and find one when I was abroad. And every single time I went on holiday, I actually did catch a snake. Even if that included leaving my family and rummaging off into the bushes. I also did that at a wedding. I disappeared off into the vineyard where I'd been watching to see where this water snake was going every day. And it took us 3 days of seeing where it went before I finally caught it. I did catch it, and I brought it back to the guests at the wedding. And needless to say, they weren't very pleased. And they were also very upset because that particular snake's defense mechanism is to defecate all over you when they're captured. So I've turned up with a snake with snake poo on my arm. But it's exciting when you're younger. I think I looked past the point that it pooed on me and just sort of washed it off in the swimming pool and went and released it later on. But yeah.
When was that, last year?
No, that wasn't quite last year. I think, let me think back. So this was Portugal. This was for one of my dad's friends' weddings. Maybe when I was about 11, 12-year-old.
Yeah.
When you're okay to sort of disappear off when the rest of the family's getting drunk and no one's sort of turn their head and see where you've gone.
That's funny. That's a good story. I didn't expect that. So we've gone with Steve Irwin as a role model. You like to keep snakes. And what was the second one again?
We've sort of covered that with the snakes.
Yeah.
That was the second one. The third one was the beginning my barbering career in
Oh yeah. So you were 17, you said.
17 years old.
So how did that happen then? Because say like for me, I went obviously for year 11, then went to sixth form, then went to uni.
Yeah.
So did you like leave school when you were 16 or 17?
I did the first year of sixth form.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't enjoying it at all. Was going through a few things at home, and it was one of those places you're at where you can't fully focus on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't focus on it 100%, there's no point in really doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I was told by the school it's either you book up your ideas, you come in, you do what you wanted to do, or you go off and you decide what you want to do. And I've done the latter. I thought, right,
Mm-hmm.
do you know what? I'm not going to be able to do school. Don't really have any interest in going to university.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go and try and find a trade, which I believe I could become good at.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live close to Chatzzz Barbers. It was one of the original Kurdish barbershops that was in Carlisle.
Big shout out there, apparently.
No, not a big shout out. Yeah, they're all right. I don't mind Chatzzz.
We'll bleep it out.
We'll bleep it out. Yeah, you can if you want. Just put barbershop. And I used to go past and used to think, wow, this is like. At this point, bear in mind as well, I hadn't been to a barbershop myself for a haircut. I'd been to, my mum cut my hair for me. Like, she used to be a hairdresser. She cut it for me from when I was a baby. So going there was very exciting and new. And I thought, wow, right, okay, this might be something that I want to do here. I've approached him for a job. Started by sweeping up floors, thinking, not making very much money for someone that age, and sort of trying to think, is this gonna work? Am I gonna be able to keep this up to make the money that I can whilst I get better? Fortunately, it worked out. I was there for a year and a half, and I got to the point, although I was working 7 days a week, very hard, even at the weekends, despite going out for drinks, and actually ended up making quite a bit of money for someone at 17 years old, which I was happy with.
Mm-hmm. So what made you want to become a barber then, and go into the barbershop? Was it because your mum was a hairdresser, or do you always wanted to do it?
I feel like it's probably stemmed from my mum, from her cutting my hair, because I was always very particular about the way that my hair was cut. I remember torturing my mum's life, trying to get her to cut my hair, even like maybe twice a week sometimes. If I had 2 football games in school, I'd be like, you need to do my hair, then you need to do my hair again on Friday. And it got a bit meticulous to the point where I think she was like, I wish he'd go and get his hair cut somewhere.
You can swear if you want to.
So yeah, I always enjoyed sort of trying new things with my own hair. I wasn't very bothered about what anyone else thought about the way that it looked. So I tried everything, and I thought, you know what, it'd be quite cool to do that for other people, and sort of expand upon that and see what it is that they'd like for me to do for them as well.
That's cool. That's interesting. So we'll kind of like backtrack then and say, like, how did you find it at school then? What was it like, say, growing up in like primary school for you? Can you remember much from primary school? Or?
It was pleasant. It was nice. It was just a small primary school. I went to Houghton Primary School. Mm-hmm. Very small year group, especially our year group. And it was nice. I don't remember too much from it, apart from playing football from before we were supposed to go into school to lunchtime for hours after school until the street lights went out, and my mum was like, where you at? Do you know what I mean? You need to come home for your tea. I think that's what I remember fondly about school, really, just being able to play football all the time, only living around the corner.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Everything else was a bit mundane, really.
Yeah.
Nothing exciting.
So then going into like secondary school then, I know you said like you couldn't really concentrate and stuff. Was it just like you doing sports and football at secondary school and then just thinking? Yeah,
well, I did enjoy school. I did enjoy it. I was quite good at a lot of things, but didn't really do them as well as I maybe should have, or as well as I'd expected to. But I think that was just from a lack of passion towards what it was I was actually doing, not maybe me not caring, to be honest with you. I remember going into science thinking, there's going to be loads of things about the environment, there's going to be loads of things about animals, and if that comes up, then I'll be really good at this. Mm-hmm. And it never did. It was always things, and I was like, what? I was like, well, I've got to be good at it if I want to get A's or whatever it was. I didn't really have a goal, to be honest with you. I was just thinking I'll do well because my family wants me to do well. But yeah. it wasn't enjoyable.
No. So did you have any like entrepreneurial ventures when you were at school, like selling sweets or making lemonade or anything like that?
I didn't do anything like that. No, I wish that was something that I'd picked up on. I was, however, probably one of the best person to sell stuff to. I remember one of my friends would come and he'd bring, what was it, man, at the time? I mean, there'd be fruit pastels, Lucozades, Whispers, Kit Kat Chunkies, and I'd be the man end of the school day as well. Even if you've got any of them left, I've got a pound left from my lunch. I'll take that. It's like, hey, you bought 4 Whispers at lunchtime and a Lucozade. Like, what are you eating? You just go home and mum would be like, oh, what did you have for school today? Like, oh yeah, just a nice sandwich and that. Knowing fine well I ate about 5 chocolate bars.
That's so funny.
The diet wasn't too good.
So you wouldn't say you were like entrepreneurial or business minded at school at all then?
Not really. I think I was absent minded in school. I don't think I sort of started to really find what it was that I was wanting to do until after school. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then you obviously went to sixth form. Did you feel like you just went to sixth form because it was just the normal thing to do?
Definitely. I felt like it was the normal thing to do, but I also felt like there wasn't anything else that I was looking to do. So I think that was on my part, sort of being a bit lazy with my future, sort of not really knowing and sort of hoping that things would piece itself together. Yeah. I went in and what did I do in sixth form? Sorry, I think I done drama, which I enjoyed, but at some points I was like, this isn't for me. Standing in front of people, you get sort of a bit of you're like, fuck, I should really know what I'm doing here. Learning lines wasn't something that was very good for me either, so I'd end up going very, very off script. I'd done biology in the hope that the animals would eventually come back round.
They'd come up in the test.
No, they didn't actually. It was microorganisms, it was bacteria, it was viruses. It's things that obviously you probably should know about if you're going to go to university and study zoology or marine biology or whatever it is you want to do. But I sort of looked past those things, and it wasn't something I was interested in. Mm-hmm. So there's no point in progressing with it.
No. So for you, like, what made you then obviously transition into wanting the full-time job from deciding to do sixth form to not? Did you just like lose interest, or did you just kind of like find your passion in the hairdressing, or what's you kind of thinking to get in a full-time job?
So I actually left home at that point. I left home and went to live with someone else, and I was in a position where now I've got no qualifications, and also I don't have a job, I don't have a trade, I don't actually know what it is that I want to do. I've got kind of an idea with little things that just stand out for me, which was sort of going to the barbershop and thinking, could I do that for other people? Could I enjoy that? And that's what eventually I went with, because it was the only thing that was there for us at that time that I was excited with. And it's one of those things where it's going to take you a few years before you get good at it, before you start making the money. So you might as well just start then. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Start then, do it, see where it goes.
How did it feel then, leaving home at 17 and not knowing what you were going to do, or like how you're going to make money and stuff?
Do you know what? It's kind of something I look back on, and I think it was the making of sort of where I am now. I think it was a big decision. It's a brave decision doing that, despite not knowing what the future was going to hold, but just sort of knowing that you've got yourself, and you know that you've got that in yourself to make something of it, even without having a fucking clue what it was going to be.
Would you say you've got a lot of self-belief in yourself?
I must do. I must try to. It dwindles. It comes and goes. It's one of those things. I'd like to think I have, but there's days like anyone where you go back down.
I think everyone, like when you've got your own business, you've got a lot of self-belief, haven't you, in yourself, because you're taking that leap and you don't know where your next like 5, 10, 20 pounds is coming from.
Yeah.
But you're always gonna doubt yourself, aren't you? And think, and some days when you're a bit down and you're thinking, what the fuck am I doing here?
It's a properly natural thing for someone to think, and that self-doubt is just what makes you stronger, I think.
Yeah.
100%.
I think especially these days on like social media, where there's like a lot of like grind and hustle culture everywhere, thinking like you need to work 24 hours, 7 days a week and stuff. You need to be motivated all the time. It's just a load of bullshit, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
it is.
Not everyone can work 100% all the time. You just burn yourself out and then you fucked, aren't you?
You do, yeah. I am prone to burning the candle at both ends. I've still not found a way myself without being stopped, where I can continually work at 100%. It's just sort of knowing when you need a day off, knowing what things you need to do on that day, which are a bit maybe more relaxed, a bit more time to focus on yourself and your family and the people around you, because it's a balance with everything. And if as soon as you sort of come away from that balance, that's when the candle burns out. Definitely.
Yeah. So when you went into the barbershop for the first time, then how did it kind of like progress then from just like sweeping the floors to obviously starting cutting hair? You said you had like no experience and stuff. So like how did you learn? And then what was like...
Well, you've got to be very attentive. You've got to be stood at someone's shoulder all day, asking them questions, even if they don't speak your language. They can sort of explain to you if you've sort of got a general idea of what you're watching. I mean, I picked it up quite quickly just from, I mean, you've seen what they're doing, but it's how they're handling the equipment. It's how they're changing the guards. There's so many other things going. One of the main things that attracted me actually was the cutthroat razor. I thought that's so cool, how you make the beard shape up look really straight. At the time, it was big with the lineups on the front. Now, I think in this stage now, barbershops tend to stay away from that, because if you're chopping away the hairline, it grows back horrible, and it grows back horrible. What would you describe it as? It doesn't look neat after maybe a week or something, and it starts coming through. You're getting these little shave patches, and it's just basically the way that they're designed to cut hair is so that you go back quick, so you go back as quick as you can, rather than the longevity of the haircut and the uniqueness of the haircut. So I went in with my hair, I think I had it permed, I had a blonde streak and stuff in it. I went in and they chopped it right off. They give me the generic sort of Turkish barber style. I don't know if you remember the way that was. There's still a couple of people I see cutting about with it, and I'm thinking, flipping heck, man's about 7 years later. But it's that one with the shaved right up to here, with the line in and the comb over. And it done that for me, and that was the first time I'd seen that. I was thought, wow, that's quite cool. That, like the way he shaved it there in the line. Yeah, it's cool. And then I went back maybe 2-3 more times, and they kept doing it the same style. And I was thinking, oh, I've lost a bit of what I was like here. I've lost a bit of me here. And yeah, I used that and took that, and that's what differentiated me from the way that they cut hair. Was I looked at the person and I thought about them rather than just doing a quick haircut.
Mm-hmm. So if someone was watching this and they wanted like tips and tricks then to get into barbering, what would you recommend to them? Like now, what you know when you first started out, how would you do it differently, or
if I was
the same, or
if I was a barber up and coming now,
or even someone coming to your shop?
Yeah, well, what I'll say is it's going to be very difficult to get the sort of training that I had. Like, I don't know anyone else that's sort of done that. There wasn't many other or any other English lads that got even the chance to work in those Turkish barbershops. And the thing that you take from that is how hard they work and the hours that they put in to make that money, the grind, basically. That was something that you really appreciate when you're working with those fellas, trying to push you. And a lot of the people nowadays, I mean, they don't have that work ethic, but they're not given that drive and that work ethic. I felt like I had to do that because not because they were asking me to, but because it was going to make me better, because that's what they done. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, if someone was coming to me, I wouldn't want to make them work those hours. But if you want to get good, that's what you got to put in. That's what you got to do. You've got to be fearless, and you've got to show 100% commitment to it, or whatever it is that you want to do. Because if you don't put 100% in, then you might as well not be there. Find something else that you want to put 100 in, or 110.
Okay, that's interesting, isn't it? Because I feel like people these days, isn't it? A lot of them will just do the bare minimum and just like try and get away with it. But then it's the people that'll go into work and then do the extra because they want to progress, isn't it? Not because, like you say, you're forcing them to do it, because they want to do it, because they want to like further their life or their career or their business.
Oh, 100%. And you see that sort of mentality in people immediately when you meet them. Do you know what I mean? You know straight away what they're about, and if they're just sort of taking the easy road, and you take the easy road, you're not getting anywhere. Do you know what I mean? You're not. That's plain and simple. That's as it is. You've got to put more hours and you've got to put more effort in and do more than what is expected of you, or more than what you even think is worth putting in. Do you know what I mean?
So then how did you kind of like progress them from your first shop to like your next couple of jobs before obviously you jumped into your business? What was like kind of the road?
Yeah,
Obviously you started at 17. That's quite a few years until you opened.
Yeah,
the
there
shop.
is a few years in between there. I've dotted around a few different barbershops. I've made a good name for myself in vintage barbershop, which is where I got a lot of my clients, a lot of who are still with me today or have came back to me, which I'm very happy with. I had a bit of a break from barbering after that, and I moved to smaller barbershops. I went about it in the wrong way, where I lost a lot of customers and tried to juggle sort of being a part-time barber with working in a bar, which didn't go very well for me. It didn't go very well. That was a classic example of burn yourself out at both ends, but without getting anything from it. I didn't get anything from doing that.
What was kind of like the thought process then from transition from a full-time barber to a part-time barman, part-time?
I lost a bit of passion for it, if I'm honest with you. I lost a bit of belief in myself. I thought, is this really for me? But when you make your decision early on, that's what you're doing, that's what you stick to doing, that's what you're good at, that's what you continue doing, and that's what I eventually came to the idea that this is what I'm good at. I find my way to enjoy it again, and then bring back your passion, and then you can go. I actually went back to college to get the qualifications in it, so I didn't feel like a cowboy cutter. I thought, yeah, you know what, I'll get that bit of paper, because it does matter at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Get those qualifications, and you feel like you've got something behind you that you've earned and that you got. I went to college, just smashed it out of the park, to be honest with you. If you've been cutting hair for 3-4 years before it, you're kind of cheating a little bit. But I was happy to give a hand to other people who were new to it, other people that didn't have a clue, basically. And I felt like I helped them a lot progress, as well as sort of do that for myself. And I felt like that was a big turning point, going to Carlow College and doing that, to be honest with you. Definitely.
So what was kind of like, I'm trying to just think, so obviously, was you going to be a part-time barman / part-time barber? Did you feel like you were missing out on the social aspect of your life, or
I wasn't missing out on the social, no, because I was doing that at work or after work, and then going in the morning back to my barbering job. So
what was like the turning point there from going from full-time to part-time?
Well, you burn the candle at both ends for a long enough time, you're going to find that you've been completely emotionally and physically depleted, and you come to a point where you can't do anything else but from look at the way you're living, look at where you're wanting to go, and make a change. And that was ultimately the conclusion I came to. I was like, right, I've got to do something here. What do I need now to progress with barbering? I need my qualifications. I need to go back and do that. I don't care if I take a year and a half out to go and do that. At least I'll have the qualifications. I'll be able to work part-time doing the barbering, which I'm doing already. Just cut out the bar work. Don't go in there. Burn the other candle.
That's interesting then, because you said cowboy cutting. So do you feel like when you were starting out, you were just a bit of just like winging it kind of thing? Did you feel like a bit of an imposter syndrome, or? A little bit, definitely. I think if you don't do it the right way, or what people perceive as the right way, then you're gonna feel a little bit sort of like. And I certainly did. It was something that I was wanting to do for a while. With the lads I was working with at Chatzzz, college, you don't need college. You learn off us, and that they were absolutely right, because what I learned from them was more than what I learned at college. But I was telling them, it's a piece of paper. You know what I mean, I've got to go. I've got to get that. And I was enrolled through college. I actually worked at Greenfellas at the time, and really found my love for it again. Although I didn't have many customers, I had my friends and family coming back to me again, and sort of essentially had to start again from scratch, which was hard, but you build from a solid foundation, and that was the foundation reset, definitely. So how many years had you been cutting hair before you went back to college then?
I think it was between 3 and 4 years.
Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? Because like, say you'd been cutting for 3 or 4 years, and so the back of your mind you thought, oh fuck, I'm a bit of a cowboy here. I need to go back and get this piece of paper. Then when you went back, you were far ahead of everyone else who was learning to get that same piece of paper, and you were teaching everyone else. Yeah, definitely. It's crazy, like how the little voice in your head. Like,
it's great. It is crazy, because I went back, and that the way people looked at me from doing that, I'm thinking, flipping heck, like, he knows what he's doing here. And like, experience comes before that. Like, the experience of doing that is what made me essentially like a business owner and able to cut hair the way that I can today. That is what I take from that.
Yeah.
But the college and sort of being able to be around people who were just learning and seeing how I could help them as well sort of brought me back to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd imagine that's quite rewarding, isn't it? Like giving back kind of thing.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because say for me, when I finished uni, I was applying to be a hotel manager, believe it or not. I worked in hotels throughout uni. I did hospitality management at uni. Yeah. And when I was applying for like graduate schemes, say there was like a multinational hotel chain, so they had like an assessment day where they like flew people in from like Paris and Barcelona, and there's like me who went to Cardiff Met, and then it was like practical stuff. And I'd worked at like a hotel in Penrith for like 3 years, whatever, and I had like really good experience. So like these people were going to better universities and me getting better degrees, and then there's only like 3 spaces. One was at like Edinburgh, one was at Glasgow, one was at Aberdeen. And I got one of the spaces out of like 20, and that was because I had the practical experience. You know what I mean?
Of course. So like, you see how it comes in.
I definitely think like having because I've still got a degree, but I think having the piece of paper, like say qualification is important. But if you've got the experience to back it up as well, you're going to be far ahead. Because like you say, it's invaluable. You had way more experience than you'd ever get, even just at the barber college course thing. Yeah. So I think it's important for everyone. If you want to do something, just go in and just be like, give me some experience for a bit and let me fucking learn from you.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Education, although you get in the piece of paper, having the experience of being around people, knowing how to speak to people, it's invaluable. It is. Do you know what I mean?
I think for me, the most valuable thing is like making mistakes. Because like you can learn whatever you want from like a textbook. When I went to uni, I learned fuck all basically. I learned more on like my placement year that I took out for a year. Like say practical experience, making mistakes and learning from them.
Oh, definitely.
Because people who say they don't make mistakes are just lying. Everyone makes a mistake every single day, at least one. I make fucking loads. So as long as you can learn from them mistakes, then you're going to grow as a person, as a business and everything.
Oh, definitely. It's not just like learning from your mistakes as well, but it's not being too hard on yourself when you make those mistakes. People do, it could be massive, could be like tiny compared to like for what someone else would think anyways, but it can have a profound effect on you, sort of if you're highly, I'd say I'm quite critical of myself. I think there's people that are critical of themselves, so that could be anything from dropping stuff on the floor to missing a bill or flooding your shop with your fish tank water. Do you know what I mean? And you're going to sort of hold yourself accountable and sort of put yourself down, but you've got to learn to be kind with yourself and sort of be like, it's a mistake, people make them. Where can we go from here to improve and not do it again? That's essentially what mistakes are. Learning how to better yourself and not make the same mistake in the future.
I think it's important, isn't it, to always be like analytical, like say self-critical, but then obviously thinking, oh yeah, that was good, but what I can do better to like progress forward, because everyone could always improve everything. Nobody's perfect. I think that's important.
Definitely.
So getting to the stage then, when did you first kind of think I want to open my own barbershop?
So funnily enough, it was something that was presented to me. It was never actually a thought in my head. I thought, right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna open my own barbershop. The opportunity came up to me and slapped me right in the face. And I think when you get that, you can't do anything but turn it down. He came to me and said, "Oh, there's a barbershop there for rent. It's for sale, but they're looking to lease it to you as well. And or do you know someone who would want to lease a shop?" And immediately I was thinking about other people. Oh, is there anyone else that would want to lease? Like, is someone I know? And I turned around to my partner at the time. Sorry, not at the time. My partner at that time. We're actually away in Birmingham.
He's a busy boy.
Oh, fucking hell. Stitched myself there. I knew what I was trying to say.
We've actually we've got an audience of 2 today, you see. This is the first time I've had an audience, probably the last time as well.
And all I can see is hair over your shoulder there. Go away. That's not what I meant. My partner, comma, at the time. And I said to her, someone's offered me a barbershop, and she said, take it. And I thought, I didn't have the confidence in myself at all to do it. I called a few people and I said, I've got this opportunity to take on a barbershop. Should I do it? And they all said to me, Kieran, come on.
She's had enough. She's leaving now.
Yeah, she's gone. She's gone now. She's thought, fuck you. Oh dear.
Right, carry on.
Yeah.
You haven't lost your train of thought. I think that camera's gone off. Oh well, carry on.
It's gone.
That was fine. That was fine. Yeah, go.
And I thought, you know what? I'll bring some of that self-belief back that these people are giving me, my family, my friends, my partner, and I went for it. And I thought, and I've never looked back since. To be honest with you, I think it's been one of the best decisions that I've made personally, and I actually wouldn't change it. I think what I've done's good, and I'm constantly looking into what I can do more to make it better, to improve, and to try and be a bit sort of unique and a bit sort of a bit different. Definitely.
Did you feel ready at the time?
No, definitely not.
Why no?
When you're looking at a big challenge like that, it can seem daunting, and it seemed daunting to me. I mean, the idea that I didn't know all the things that go into running a business. I knew how to cut hair. I knew that I was good at my trade. I kind of had an idea about what it was that I was wanting to incorporate into the building, into my business, to make it a bit more interesting. But I knew that I'd need help with running the books, paying the bills, all these other things that I knew were like sort of the background to making a business work successfully. And when you've got no clue about something, it's a fear of the unknown, basically.
Mm-hmm. I think, especially when you're younger, like, you're more likely to take the risk and the leap, aren't you? Whereas when you get a bit older, you're a bit more wary, and you take less risks, and you're more like tactical and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think, what made you actually take the leap then? Because obviously you say, oh, somebody offered it to me, but yeah, this was offering it to someone, then just going through all the paperwork and signing the dotted line, isn't it?
Well, as soon as I took it the next step, as soon as I took it to the next step where I was actually like viewing the premises and having a look around, and the ideas all started popping into my head of what would go where, and sort of just how I envisaged it looking. And I thought, it's something that I've got to go with. What else am I going to do? That's the natural progression from being in a salon where you're just paying your rent for your chair. It's the next stage. Do you know what I mean? And you've got to take it. If you don't take it, then you're going to be happy with staying where you were. And I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. So why would you say you weren't happy then at the time?
I feel like when you become comfortable with what you're doing, it's easy to stagnate, and sort of you become comfortable with what your earnings, with what you're doing. I don't know what you'd say really.
Yeah,
you become a bit depressed in yourself, to be honest with you. You're thinking, what's the next thing that I'm wanting to do? And if you're someone who wants to go far and wants to do things, you've got to take a leap. You've got to take a leap. Otherwise, that is where you'll stay.
Mm-hmm. Have you always liked to be comfortable?
I get comfortable with being comfortable,
mm-hmm.
and I always have little things in my head, like little times when I'm alone and I'm thinking that I'm not happy. I need to do something to change it up. I need to change the environment that I'm at. I need to change whatever it may be in my life at that time, which is making me sort of feel stagnant and feel a bit sort of like I don't want to get up and go in the morning. If I don't feel like I want to wake up in the morning and come to work and enjoy it and do all the things that I like to do, what are you going to do? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to change it.
It's important, isn't it? So for anyone that's wanting to open a barbershop, what was kind of the process? Just you've got to make sure that you've got an idea. You've got to make sure that you can picture where it is you want it to go. You've got to know that it's going to draw clients. You've got to know. I was very fortunate with this shop because it was already a barbershop for 17 years. You've got to pick the right area. You've got to have the right foot traffic, and you've got to. Advertising, I feel like, is a massive part of it, and you've got to what you advertise. You have to be able to do. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for you, apart from that, so what was the process of, say, talking to the landlord, and then signing the papers, and then obviously kitting it all out, and what kind of that was that stressful, or was it easy, or do you think it was what you thought it was, or was it different? Yeah. Was it more work or less work, or?
Because it was already set up as a salon, as a barbershop, there was limited work that needed done. All I needed to do was sort of put the touch to it that I wanted to make it, etc. Plants. There's plenty more things that I want to do to make it more mine. You know what I mean? Excuse me. That's that Thai from earlier. There's a lot more that I want to do to it to modernise it. There's a lot more work that can be done, but that's the same with everything, with everyone. You're constantly looking at the progression with something.
That's I think it's just a mindset, isn't it? Always wanting to improve things and continuous and that kind of thing. So when you launched it then, because obviously I say to people the launch is always like the easy part, and then after that comes like the hard work. How was like the launch for you then?
Yeah, well, the launch, I think it did get there was a lot of excitement behind it, because it was something that a lot of my clients especially have been telling me to do for a while. They're saying, Key, why don't you go and do this, do it your own way? And there was a lot of excitement behind it. I received a lot of support, and it was something that made me very proud, to be honest with you. I was thinking that how have I managed to do this? Do you know what I mean? And I'm still proud today. Like that, I think that moment when you get something like that in your own name, it's something that can't be beaten. Do you know what I mean? Until you go to the next thing.
Yeah.
And I remember being buzzing for. I mean, I think up until Christmas, where I've been really busy, in January, where it's been a bit harder, that's all I could think about. All I could think about, thinking, I've got my own shop. Do you know what I mean? And you've got to take pride in that, and you've got to be happy with that, because it's an achievement. And if you're in that position where you can do that, do it. Even if you're not 100% sure, if you don't know how to do things, you can seek the right advice from people. There's people that will help you all through your life, all through your family, all through your friends. There's all kinds of people out there. Even like if you don't fully know what they do or know that they can help you, they will. And that's what I found.
So like opening the door for the first time, what was that like then?
Opening the door when it was the opening day.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it felt like home straight away. It did. I walked in and I was like, "Wow, we're here now. Let's get some work done." And I've not looked back since. To be honest with you, opened up. It's been consistently busy for how long have we been open for now? 5 months, 6 months, and then you can only keep doing what you're doing, and then look at sort of other avenues you can go down to start making more money. And that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So over the last 5 months, then. So what's the journey been like?
To be honest with you, in comparison to the last 6 years of cutting hair, it's gone by in a flash, but it's been the most enjoyable out of the full rest of it, to be honest with you. It felt like it was those 6 years of hard work led up to that point, and everything before that was forgotten about instantly. It was like, right, we're here now. Let's start doing things, and let's start making some money.
So for you, what's like the motivation then? Is it money, or is it just like fulfillment, or what would you say?
It's money, definitely. It's being able to get the things that you want, being able to. Well, a lot of it's my hobby, to be honest with you. I like being able to show what I enjoy to people. I'd like to see that people enjoy that as well. Something that brings something a bit different, maybe something that a lot of people don't get the chance to see. I mean, that there's probably my pride and joy, to be honest with you.
It's cool. Like
I keep advancing on that and keep going.
Yeah, if you're listening on audio only, how long is this fish tank, or how big would you say? Would you say is it on like liters or? This
is 425 liters, 5 foot long.
It's fucking massive.
It's big.
If you can't
it's big.
See it.
I could. She'll hate me for this, but I've been looking at bigger ones as well.
She's left now.
Yeah, she's left now. She keeps telling me no more. But when you have a hobby or an obsession with a hobby like that, there's no bounds to how far you're willing to go.
So explain to people who are listening on audio only then how many fish you've got in and the different types.
So in the tank at the moment, we've actually just had a big change up, and we've bought Roger, as I mentioned earlier, the stingray, who's enjoying swimming about at the back at the moment.
He's loving it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's looking pretty good. I'm very happy. I also have 3 juvenile Oscars in there, two albino and a normal colour. I have a silver shark. I've got a ghost knifefish, and I've also got a synodontis catfish hybrid. and they're all enjoying each other. To be honest with you, they're having a good time.
Yeah, loving it. So for you then, having a business, what was it? Was it what you expected? Was it slightly different? Is it harder work? Is it easier?
Harder.
In what sense?
Being able to sort of being organised. I've never been a person who's particularly organised, and that level of organisation sort of comes a lot down to my missus as well. She helps me out with all that kind of thing. It does stress me out a lot when you're getting sort of bombarded with telephone calls. You get people all the time saying, "What about your insurance? Do you need insurance? Do you need about your phone line? All these kind of things." A lot of cold callers. I think they became the bane of my life towards maybe the second month. I was thinking, I wish these people would stop calling. But with that, you've got to do your research into it to know which people to go with. To be honest with you, before just agreeing to any old contracts, which I unfortunately got roped into. But you can't.
What happened there?
So gas and electric companies, I mean, they're renowned for sort of charging people obscene amounts if they miss a bill or they miss maybe the meter readings are slightly wrong. With me, an unnamed company.
Yeah, no shout outs.
They told me that they were the current providers of the gas and electric for the building, and I went with them, and they actually charged me £700 for the first what I thought was going to be a year's sort of payment, and it turned out it wasn't at all. It was it was just an upfront cost which they took from me, and I never managed to get it back. Which when you're starting a business is very stressful. Luckily, after that happened, I didn't let any of the ones take any sort of money like that from me. But when that happened, I was just sort of like flipping heck. Is this what? Honestly, at first I thought, is this going to be my electric? Because I'm only running. I had 2 fish tanks at the time. I'm only running 2 fish tanks. I mean, it shouldn't cost me that much. I'm not running a sunbed shop, which obviously the electric's coming out of it constantly. Luckily, I've got it down. I think it's about, I don't know, it's still quite expensive, but I think they're going to go up as well soon, which I'm not looking forward to, but at least it's not £700 a month.
So what would you say then the biggest lesson you've learned then in the first 5 months for you? Maybe like personally, and then business-wise, if you can separate them.
Personally, be organised, be the first person in the shop, last person in the shop, look after all your customers, go the extra mile to do the things that you know you need to do, because then you're making your next day easier. Mm-hmm. You are. You've got to look after the people around you, look after your staff, make sure everyone's happy. Happiness is the key with it. It is your own happiness and everyone else's, especially your own happiness, because obviously if you're the person choreographing all the movements, you've got to be on top of it. You've got to make sure that you're sound of mind and of body, and you've got to be prepared 100% every day. You've got to want to come to work.
I think it's important, isn't it, to look after yourself? Like, health is wealth. That's the phrase.
It is.
And like, if you look after yourself and you're happy, then that aura will rub off on, say, your staff and your customers, and then that kind of like correlates, doesn't it?
100%. Yeah.
Look after number one.
If you have the days where you feel like you don't want to do it, and you force yourself to do it anyways, like you can have days I'll wake up and I'll be like, I'm not feeling this today. I feel guilty for not feeling up for it today, but I go and do it, and you leave work feeling more rewarded than the days where you wake up in the morning ready to go. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, I've done that. I've pushed myself through, and I've managed to now keep going. And you can wake up on the wrong side of the bed and still go to the right side of the bed the next day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think I put a post on Instagram last week, and it was something along the lines of how do you stay motivated? And it was like, nobody's motivated. You just have to be disciplined and just do the same processes over and over again. Just wake up, do shit over and over again, and then you see the results, which will motivate you, and then that's how you stay motivated, by just becoming more and more disciplined, isn't
it? I could say that I've done, from the last 5 months, that's certainly something that I've found as well, the discipline. And when you get that, you don't realise that it's happening anymore. It just becomes nature. And I feel like being asked the questions by you now, then you realise, do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, flipping heck, like how I've been able to get up every day. I've been able to perform to that level which the 6 years prior to that, it'd be like one day off a week, at least. One day where I'm not, 2 days where I'm not feeling quite 100%, and now it's every day I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make things happen.
Would you say you've got a good routine?
I'd say that there needs a touch of work done to it, but I think knowing where you're going wrong is part of the problem, part of fixing the problem anyways. I feel like when my routine goes, when I'm not doing things the way that I'd like to, that's when you've got to take a look and see what it is you can do to achieve it, and who you can speak to help you achieve it.
Then would you say you're quite like self-aware?
Yeah, I'd say so. I would say so. Sometimes I don't want to be so much maybe, and yeah, you do things to sometimes avoid that maybe. I think avoidance technique is what ultimately
everyone procrastinates, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. The more you bury your head in the sand, the worse you make things. You've got to tackle things head on every day. As soon as it happens to you as well.
I think for me personally, it's important for me to do the most important / the worst task at the start of the day and get it out of the way, because if I don't do them first, I'll end up pushing it down and down the list and won't do it, and then I'll go into the next day and then the next day, and then like you say, you're just like, what am I doing here? Like, it's because everyone is lazy, everyone procrastinates, and it's just like you say, you put in the systems or processes in place, or having that structure and discipline to do them things and tackle it, get it out of the way, and then move on, because then you can actually move on. You're not constantly thinking. And that's when people overthink, isn't it? And get anxious and anxiety and
massively.
That kind of stuff.
When you're experiencing those feelings, that's because you know that there's something that should be at the front that you bury to the back. Do you know what I mean? There's something that you're avoiding doing. And I'll tell you something, when you manage to get all those big things out of the way, it doesn't have to make the rest of your day go better.
Yeah, it clears your head, doesn't it?
Yeah, massively.
But like, because I haven't drank alcohol for 17 months now.
Yeah, congratulations.
So,
well done.
So the reason why I stopped, I think I've told you before, but it was because, say, when I moved back to Carlisle at the start of COVID, and then I was going out like every weekend and stuff till stupid o'clock and that. And then like Monday morning would come and I wouldn't want to wake up and I wouldn't do any work. And then like Tuesday would come and then I wouldn't want to open my laptop until like the afternoon, and then just get really anxious thinking, oh fuck, what's all this gonna happen here? And I was thinking, I just need to remove this, what's stopping me from like achieving my goals, and that's being hungover and stuff and drinking alcohol and that. And then that's when you start progressing, isn't it? And stuff like that. So 100%,
yeah.
So like self-awareness, I think, is the most important thing.
It's knowing that the thing that you don't want to do is the thing that you've got to do. I attempted dry January.
Yeah. How did that go?
Done 2 weeks.
Better than nothing.
Felt amazing. Felt amazing after the first weekend. I'm quite bad for that. I will enjoy a drink on the weekend after I've had a good week's work. Normally on a Sunday after football, you don't get anything better than it was actually because we won our first we won our first league game, which is a massive thing. We've done very poorly at the start, and it sort of seems like it's coming together now a little bit. Sort of a new year and first game and a victory, and we've not been defeated yet, so hopefully it'll continue through the season. But that doesn't mean that I've got a drink on the Sunday after we win every game. I'm going to try and bear that in mind for the next one.
I think everything's good in moderation though, isn't it? You don't have to like cut everything out. And you want to have a bit of fun and enjoyment, isn't it? Yeah. But for me personally, it's easy to just cut it out, because otherwise I can't have 1 or 2 drinks. I'll just be like, that's out and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's been able to manage that. The first 2 drinks are the ones that get you. You can't. If you're going to drink, you're going to drink. If you're not going to drink, you just don't at all. That is a real, definitely.
So that's personally. So then business, did we say business-wise what you learned?
Business-wise, I would say it is the organisation. It's being able to, it's knowing when things are going to come out. It's having the right amount of money to be able to not just pay your bills, but be able to progress the shop and make sure that the shop's got all the things that it requires, all the products. Organisation. Seriously, you need to look every single day as well. It doesn't mean organise it at the start of the week and then that's all right, we'll just let the rest of it go. I mean, every single day you've got to look at what it is the next day that you can do to stay on top of everything. Definitely. So
just to overview then the first 5 months, how would you rate your experience then? Would you say it's been like character building, or would you say that it's been, I don't know, the best experience of your life or something like that? How would you summarize it overall?
I would summarize it by saying both of those things. It's been an absolute array of emotions, from sort of disbelief with the bills coming through, the price of that one that I told you before, to sort of absolute elation when you're finishing and you've had a fantastic day. Because our job's making people look good and having a good crack with them. I mean, you can't get a better job than that, really. Do you know what I mean? I really, really enjoy what I'm doing, and when you're enjoying it like that, you can't beat anything else.
That's good. You want to do something you enjoy, isn't it? That's the most important thing.
You do.
So I think that's pretty much it for the main part, and then we're going to go on to everyone's favorite relationship advice. So basically, this segment, should we say?
Yeah.
We get people to message in. And we do it anonymously as well. So the first one, believe it or not, is actually a girl that's messaged in. So we need to make up a fake name for her. So who are we calling this girl?
Oh, I don't know. What should we call a girl? My snake's name. She's a girl at home. She's called Clarence.
Clarence. So
call the girl Clarence. Yeah.
Kieran Snake's messaged in, and she said, "Adam, what can I do? My boyfriend's having too many boys' nights out." Oh, yeah.
Well, this is a sticky situation here, because if you don't go out with the boys, then they're going to say that you whiffed. And if you don't go with the missus, you're not getting tea.
Yeah, this is an awkward one, isn't it? Because you obviously got two boys here giving the advice. So what would you say then if you could talk to Clarence?
Yeah,
what would you say to her? This would be quite a good neutral situation, because you're a boy, obviously. Not
it depends on how far the boy is going to go with that night, whether he's going to come back at a sensible time or he's going to be gone for the whole weekend.
The foreseeable.
Yeah. I think that just comes down to the persona of the person that Clarence is dating, really. I mean, is he likely to be out on a binge for 3 days? I think if he's out on a binge, you need to go and find out where he's at and bring him home by the scruff of the neck.
So what would you say is fair then? Would you say like one night out a week and not being out till like 6 a.m, just maybe like till midnight or something? Or
I kind of at the same time don't think that you should be told what to do. I feel like but if it's an irresponsible person, then you might have to tell them what to do.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's an awkward one, isn't it? Really?
It's an awkward one. It just depends on that person and how badly they're ruining their life.
I think it all comes down to communication, doesn't it? Like as long as the boyfriend doesn't take the piss and is out all the time, like say in a 3-day binge. It's
one of those, isn't it? I feel like the communication needs to be there in the first place for him not to want to go for that amount of time. I feel like there might be something going on in the actual relationship if he's wanting to spend that amount of time away. So sorry, Clarence.
Clarence, you need to confront him and say, "What am I doing wrong here? Why do you want to go on too many nights? Why are you going on?
Is the dinner not any good?"
You maybe just going out for tea every night and breakfast and lunch. Right. So Clarence, there you go. So we moved on to the next one now. So the next one is going to be a boy. So what are we calling this boy?
We'll call him our snake Donny, shall we?
Donny. So all of Kieran's snakes have messaged in today.
Yeah,
so
they've all seen themselves on the camera and they thought, right,
I need some airtime.
Yeah.
So Donny said, right, his girlfriend is not doing the housework. No matter how many times I ask her, she just won't do it. She's really, really lazy. Oh, this is a difficult one.
Is Donny doing a similar amount of housework? I do feel like housework should be managed between the two people.
Yeah.
I do, definitely. If it's there for you to do, then do it. But I think there should be an understanding when it's maybe not done, and maybe a bit of helping each other as well, as opposed to just sort of, you do that and I do this. Do you know what I mean? I think teamwork doesn't make the dream work. Oh. It definitely does.
So you reckon it shouldn't be like rotated, like, all right, Donny does the bins and then say Felicia does the fucking ironing or whatever?
Oh no, definitely. I do think there's some jobs which should be to one person, but if the opportunity is there for you to help out, then do it.
What jobs are you allocated in your relationship?
So then? I'm the bin man, definitely the bin man. I don't mind cleaning the kitchen. I'll do all the washing. Maybe not very well, but I'll do all the washing. Christy does all the cooking.
Yeah.
Fabulous chef.
So she'll do the cooking and you'll do like the washing and the bins and stuff like that.
Yeah. Sure.
That's quite good.
Sorry.
Mr. Popular again, like.
It's just my mum.
He's just fired his mum off. We're nearly finished now.
Sorry, mum. I'll call you back.
So what are we saying to Donnie then? We're saying it's just communication again.
Just saying communication is key. I feel like rather than calling her lazy, have a look at where you can help out as well.
Yeah, look inward.
Maybe get yourself in, get yourself in the house. I think Donnie's gone off on the binge, hasn't he? Comes back and the house is a mess.
That's funny. So we've got one more here. We've got the final one. We've only got 3 relationship advice questions here. So this is from a boy.
Yeah.
And he's saying, this is quite a bit of a deep one here, really. He's saying, typically the longer a man is with a woman, the more they fall in love with the girl.
Yeah.
But a woman, the longer they're with a man, the more they fall out of love with them. So he feels like he's in that sticky situation. So he's saying, what's the best way to sustain keeping her in love with him? We need a name for this guy as well. That's a fucking long one.
I'll let you name this one. I'm not going to go through all of them.
We'll go with Charles. So Charles is saying that.
So Charles is asking how to prolong love.
Yeah, that's a bit of a deep question, isn't it? Really. Like Charles, why are you messaging asking me for this?
I feel like Charles needs to sort of spicing up the life, maybe. If she's falling out of love,
spice it up.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I don't think he's doing something.
Have you got any advice for Charles to spicing it up then?
No, I think I need some advice about that as well.
so this is Kieran's question. He's messaging.
Yeah. Anyone? Come on, we'll listen to you. What have you got?
I reckon what he needs to do is, like you say, if you're just stuck in the same routine over and over again, it just gets boring, doesn't it? You get comfortable being comfortable.
Yeah.
And if, say, you just going to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I don't know, Charles, you're just cooking the tea, she's eating it, whatever. At the weekend, you just do fuck all. You don't like change the scenery. I think it's important, isn't it, to have something to look forward to, like book a night away or book a holiday.
Definitely. Changing up the routine.
Yeah, if it's spicing up maybe the scenery or spicing up the bedroom or something like that.
Anything like
I think
that.
That's important,
Anything
isn't
like
it?
That, spicing up the food.
So just changing your environment. I think that's important.
I do. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Changing up the environment, changing up your routine and what it is that you're doing day to day.
Yeah. So Charles, just book a night away, book a holiday. Man. Everything's reopening now because COVID's.
Get yourself to Leeds and go and do the pub crawl.
Yeah, Leeds and pub crawl.
Yeah.
What's it called? What's that called?
I can't remember what it's called. I really want to go and do it.
Otley Run.
Yeah.
Otley Run.
Take it to go and do that.
Go and do the Otley Run and then you'll be sound.
Sort your relationship problems.
That's cool, Charles. Hope we can take some tips and notes from that. So that's all the relationship advice for today. So I hope you enjoyed that. We're pretty much coming to the end of the podcast now. We've been going just over an hour. That's pretty decent.
Perfect.
It's gone really quick. So do you want to end it? Do you want to like plug your shop and stuff like that?
Oh, you give me the opportunity to do that? Oh, man, I've not done that. No, I'm not going to do it. I think what we've done so far has been enough sort of, you've done enough for us there. I'm happy, man. I'm happy. Yeah. Fish and trims, 108 Denton Street. If you're going to come down and have a look at the Stingray and have a good crack and get a good haircut, then I'm here.
Yeah, perfect. Right, Kieran, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.
And thank you very much for tuning into Chatzzz. If you're listening on audio only, make sure to follow. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. And also, you've been able to see the fish today, so I want you to comment, what is your favourite fish? And you can comment Roger the Stingray, so that's fine. So thank you very much. I will see you next time.
Cheers.
Bye.